coming in from cell towers, coming in from other relay stations. Not only that, but they are targeting individuals with neural scenarios that essentially draw people into psychosis. Neural narratives is the name of the project. In fact, we'll be getting into more of that in a future broadcast, but here's even more information from this deep state agent.
One of the newest developments is that nanoparticulate matter can be stabilized for distribution. If you're not aware what nanoparticulate matter is, it's that matter which exists on a scale of 1 × 10⁻⁹. Very, very small. Smaller than a cell. And we can manufacture materials that have discrete properties that can be controlled by virtue of bioengineering and their physical chemistry. To auto-aggregate, to be able to aggregate in particular areas based upon their biological and or chemical sensitivity. But now we go one step further. Most recently, just a few weeks ago, it was announced that you could then aerosolize nanomaterials. And go one step further, I can create small robotic units, controllable robotic units at the nanoscale, and that these too can be aerosolized to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that can penetrate all but the most robust biochemical filters, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, can be then uptaken into the vascular system to create clumping, can affect the vascular system of the brain, or can directly diffuse into the brain space, and these can be weaponized. And they can be done in such a level that their presence is almost impossible to detect, and as such, the attribution becomes exceedingly difficult to demonstrate. How much of this material would I need? Take a look. This is the front of my pen. This amount of nanomaterial, if be able to maintain and sustain with regard to its deliverability and aerosolization, could in fact affect all of you, or based upon where I come from, New York City, all yous. Look at this. Look at this. I'm carrying that material. Would you see it? Would I have to lug a giant weapon into the room? No, I wouldn't. And what if, in fact, I utilize some form of an unmanned aerial device or unmanned ground device as a delivery vehicle? Something like a drone or a bug. Could I do something with that?
Aerosolized nanotechnology. Smart dust. Nanorobots floating in the air, infecting people. In fact, they started talking about all sorts of different programs using bugs, mosquitoes, to inject people with nanotech. Once in the blood, it turns into a neural network, a neural web, a DARPA web inside the brain. And they're running neural narratives through this network to make people hear voices and think things, and to listen and to watch what people are doing, turning people into a computer. You've heard of your webcam spying on you. Now your eyes and your ears and your brain is spying on you, sending it all to the NSA, sending it all to the DARPA. And so, what do you think's in these vaccines? Undoubtedly, we're talking about exactly this. We've seen the videos of the nano routers, of the antennas inside, floating inside the vaccines. This is a component of what's going on. It's a war on a nanoscale, and they've infected literally billions of people, assimilated them in a certain sense. And you might think this is impossible, this is way beyond modern technology, but it's supposedly not. And people that have been targeted by this technology in the run-up to the mass deployment will tell you that it is very convincing as well as traumatizing, experiencing technology. That's why we've been talking about the shielding, because this neuroscience, this next chapter in our lives, is being deployed on a massive scale. And so this is the new battlefield. It's invisible laser weapons targeting you from just about every direction, from a drone, from a satellite, from a weather balloon, from an airplane, from some kind of backhaul, fiber optic backhaul, 60 gigahertz microwave transmitter mounted on a lamppost somewhere. Even these new street lights, smart lights, are 5G enabled. In fact, when you look at these smart cities, you've got burst transmitters everywhere. And all of those can be used as a launch pad for an invisible attack, courtesy of DARPA and the deep state. That's why we've been talking about shielding